The U.S. is exposing an alleged Russian disinformation plot to use as a pretext for an invasion of Ukraine. Senior administration officials say they believe Russia is in the process of staging a fake video depicting an attack by the Ukrainian military. It allegedly involves a staged explosion and other graphic scenes. Officials say the alleged plot is the latest Russian effort to spread anti-American and anti-Ukrainian propaganda. CBS News, Homeland, and Security and Justice reporter Nicole Sganga has been following this and joins me now. Nicole, thanks for joining us. U.S. officials say Russian proxies and state media are carrying out a record-breaking disinformation push against the U.S. and Ukraine. What other false narratives are we seeing?
Yeah, Nikki, researchers at DHS's Office of Intelligence and Analysis have sorted through really an avalanche of disinformation produced by Russian state media groups, places like RT and Sputnik, and they found hundreds of these articles and posts falsely claiming Russia has no intent to invade Ukraine and that the West fabricated the invasion story as an excuse for its own military buildup. In January alone, anti-Ukrainian content from Russian state media topped 800 articles, up from just 130 in September. In fact, from September 2021 to January 2022, DHS found that Russian state media and proxy websites published a greater number of anti-Ukrainian and anti-American narratives on a month-by-month basis than during any preceding period on record. Today, you just mentioned it. We heard of a Russian plot to use a phony video of a fake explosion as a pretext for invasion of Ukraine. But we've already seen fake videos produced by Russian state media and amplified them, including phony images of the U.S. allegedly moving heavy tanks to the border with Ukraine last month. Moscow's online armies have already spun so many wild tales, accusing the U.S. of hiring mercenaries, for instance, to carry out a chemical attack plot and revisiting false narratives aligning Ukrainians with Nazism. So we're turning new pages on Russian disinformation, but at the end of the day, we're really reading out of the same book we've been reading out of for decades.
Nicole, this push may be unprecedented, but Russia's information warfare is nothing new. How does this play into the Kremlin's decades-old playbook?
Well, it all comes down to plausible deniability. Disinformation campaigns, cyber attacks, unmarked special forces. We saw this play out during Moscow's invasion of Georgia in 2008 and again during the 2014 Crimea operation. Russia's goal here is to discredit its victim and infuse just enough confusion into the whole situation that it displaces the blame. Modern Russian propaganda, it first appeared during the Revolution of 1917. It resurfaced during the World Wars, and our viewers probably remember those red artist commission posters they learned about in history classes, propaganda posters. But we don't have to go that far back to see the impact of Kremlin-backed disinformation in the U.S. You'll remember in 2016 and again in 2020, Moscow designed an online disinformation campaign to sow doubt about the U.S. presidential elections, culminating in this massive network of fake social media accounts. We called them Russian bots, and they were programmed to spread divisive political content across the internet, and they were very, very good at exacerbating the existing rifts in American society. But there is one thing that is different this time around, and that's Russian meddling in U.S. elections really offered some hard-earned lessons to U.S. officials. That's why we see the Biden administration peeling back the curtain on new intelligence today, publicly disclosing each false flag plot blow by blow, even tracking each anti-American or anti-Ukrainian article pushed out by Russian state media.
We're also learning new information about a cyber attack which targeted Ukrainian government websites last month. What more can you tell us about that?
Well, this was a three-pronged cyber attack, something Ukraine's top cyber official told me was intended as psychological warfare. The first prong, a defacement campaign targeting more than 90 government websites linked to 22 Ukrainian agencies. About 50 Ukrainian government websites were defaced, including the homepage for the foreign ministry, which temporarily displayed a warning to be afraid and expect the worst. The second prong, some external IT infrastructures were destroyed destroyed. And finally, hackers successfully employed specially designed wiper malware on 2 of Ukraine's government agencies, wiping data, though there's no indication at this point that personal information has been stolen. As this attack was unraveling, we didn't really know if all of these prongs were connected, but Ukrainian cybersecurity researchers now say they were. And while they've yet to formally attribute the attack to Moscow, their research points to familiar Russian tactics. All things considered, Ukrainian officials tell me their response shows they've grown cyber defenses in recent years, but they remain really concerned about the Russians' capacity to wage cyber attacks. One last note here, Congresswoman Alyssa Slotkin, also a former CIA analyst and Pentagon official, tweeted today following a classified briefing that lawmakers got from the Secretary of Defense, the Secretary of State. And, she said to the Ukrainian people, if Russia does invade, take your cell phones with you everywhere you go, flood the internet with pictures and videos. But here's the concern. Attacks in cyberspace often precede military action, but they can also happen side by side. So the reality is that a military ground invasion could coincide with a cyber attack or some sort of electronic warfare that knocks out communications in Ukraine. The result would not only be harm to the Ukrainian people, but it would be this flood of pictures and videos that documented evidence of Russian aggression. It might all dry up. And that's what's really at stake here and what so many cybersecurity officials in Ukraine are concerned about.
Nicole Sganga, thank you for your excellent reporting.
Thank you.